My beloved child, before you move on, before your thoughts rush ahead to the next thing demanding your attention, stay here with me for just a moment. I know you did not expect this moment. I know your day may have already been filled with responsibilities, distractions, questions, and concerns that seem too heavy to put down. Yet somehow, out of all the paths you could have taken, out of all the voices you could have listened to, your eyes have landed here. And deep within your heart, there is a quiet question forming. Why am I here? Why did this appear before me right now? My child, I want you to know that some moments carry more meaning than they first appear to hold. Not every encounter is random. Not every pause is accidental. Not every interruption is without purpose. There are times when heaven gently touches the ordinary moments of your life and turns them into something sacred. This is one of those moments. I see how quickly the world moves around you. I see how often you are expected to keep going, keep producing, keep carrying burdens, and keep pretending that everything is fine. The noise around you has been loud. The demands have been constant. And somewhere beneath all of that noise, your soul has been longing for something deeper. Perhaps you could not even put it into words. Perhaps you only felt it as a quiet ache, a longing you could not explain, a feeling that there must be something more. My child, I have heard that longing. I have seen every silent question that never left your lips. I have watched every moment when you searched for reassurance but found only more uncertainty. And that is why I am speaking to you now. Not because you found me, but because I came looking for you. Not because you figured everything out, but because I know exactly where you are. There is a reason this moment feels different. There is a reason these words seem to pull at something deep inside you. There is a reason your attention has lingered here instead of moving on. I want you to consider something. What if this moment is not simply another passing experience? What if there is a reason your heart feels drawn to stay? What if the timing is more important than you realize? My child, I am the God who sees beyond what human eyes can see. I see the roads ahead before you ever reach them. I see the prayers you have forgotten praying. I see the hopes you buried because disappointment convinced you they would never bloom. I see the battles you fight in silence and the courage it takes for you to keep going. Nothing about your life is hidden from me. Nothing about your story has escaped my attention. And because I see all of it, I know exactly when to reach for your heart. There are moments in life when a single reminder can change the direction of an entire season. There are moments when a simple whisper of truth becomes a lifeline for a weary soul. There are moments when the right word arrives at exactly the right time. My child, timing matters. Timing has always mattered. Long before you arrived at this moment, I already knew it would come. Long before you felt the weight you carry today, I already knew how much strength you would need. Long before you began asking whether anyone truly saw what you were going through, I had already prepared this reminder for you. You may call it a coincidence. You may call it chance. But I want you to listen closely. I am a God of purpose. I am a God of detail. I am a God who knows how to reach my children exactly when they need me most. And perhaps the hidden message in this moment is simpler than you expected. Perhaps the message is not about fear. Perhaps it is not about pressure. Perhaps it is not even about what lies ahead. Perhaps the message is this: you are seen. You have not been forgotten. You are not walking through this season alone. The road may feel uncertain, but my presence has never left your side. The questions may remain unanswered for now, but my love remains unchanged. The future may still seem unclear, but my hand is still guiding you. So do not rush away from this moment. Let your heart become still for just a little while. Let the noise settle. Let your spirit breathe. There is a reason you are here. There is a reason this moment found you. There is a reason these words reached you today. And as this conversation begins, I want you to carry one truth deep within your heart. You are not here by accident. You are here because I see you, I know you, and I wanted you to hear my voice above all the noise, reminding you that there is still hope, there is still purpose, and there is still a beautiful story unfolding before you. My beloved child, as you sit with these words and allow your heart to become still, there is something I want you to understand. The weariness you have been carrying did not appear overnight. It has been building quietly, layer upon layer, moment after moment, hidden beneath smiles, responsibilities, and daily routines. Many people around you see the version of you that keeps moving forward. They see the strength, they see the effort, they see the determination, but they do not always see the cost. They do not see the emotional fatigue that follows you into quiet moments. They do not see the silent struggle that continues long after everyone else believes you are doing fine. I see it, my child. I see the exhaustion that no amount of sleep seems able to fix. I see the heaviness that settles over your thoughts when the day grows quiet. I see how hard you have been trying to hold everything together. There have been days when your heart felt overwhelmed, but you kept showing up anyway. There have been moments when you wanted someone to ask how you were really doing, not out of politeness, but because they genuinely wanted to know. Yet many times you carried your burden alone. You told yourself to stay strong. You told yourself to keep going. You convinced yourself that what you were feeling was not important enough to share. And slowly, the weight grew heavier. I know about the disappointments you rarely speak about. I know about the prayers that seem to remain unanswered. I know about the plans that did not unfold the way you hoped. I know about the relationships that changed, the expectations that were not met, and the moments when you questioned whether all your effort truly mattered. You have carried questions inside your heart for longer than most people realize. Questions you never fully voiced because you feared being misunderstood. Questions that followed you into the late hours of the night when the distractions faded and only your thoughts remained. My child, there have been seasons when you felt emotionally drained from constantly giving your time, giving your energy, giving your attention, giving your care. You poured yourself into others while quietly neglecting the ache inside your own soul. You became skilled at helping everyone around you while secretly wondering who would notice that you needed encouragement too. There have been moments when you felt surrounded by people and still experienced loneliness. Moments when you were appreciated for what you did but not always understood for who you are. That kind of hidden pain is difficult to explain. It does not leave visible marks. It does not announce itself loudly. Yet it settles deep within the heart and slowly drains hope, strength, and joy. I know about the emotional battles you have fought behind closed doors, the fears you tried to silence, the worries you carried without sharing, the pressure you placed upon yourself to keep moving forward, even when you felt completely depleted. Sometimes the burden was not one major event. Sometimes it was the accumulation of countless small hurts, disappointments, worries, and responsibilities that quietly piled upon one another until your soul became tired, very tired. And perhaps what makes it even harder is that you often question whether you have the right to feel this way. You compare your struggles to the struggles of others. You minimize your pain. You tell yourself that you should be stronger, more grateful, more resilient. Yet beneath those thoughts remains a simple truth. You are carrying more than you were ever meant to carry alone. My child, I am not telling you this to deepen your sadness. I am telling you this because I want you to know that your hidden burden is not invisible. Your exhaustion is not ignored. Your silent struggle is not forgotten. Every anxious thought, every weary sigh, every moment you felt emotionally worn down, I have seen them all. Even the pain you could not fully explain, I understood. Even the tears that never fell, I noticed. Even the battles that remained hidden from everyone else were never hidden from me. And right now, before anything changes, before any answers come, before any solutions appear, I simply want you to rest in this truth. You are fully seen, you are deeply known, and your pain matters to me. My beloved child, because you have carried this hidden burden for so long, something else has quietly happened within your heart. Little by little, without even realizing it, certain thoughts began to settle deep inside you. They did not arrive all at once. They arrived slowly, quietly, repeatedly. They came during moments of disappointment. They came after unanswered questions. They came after seasons that seemed longer than expected. They came when you were already tired. And because you were weary, you became vulnerable to believing things that were never meant to define you. I want you to listen carefully. Not every thought that enters your mind speaks the truth about who you are. Not every conclusion formed in pain reflects reality. Yet there are false beliefs that have been following you for far too long. One of them whispers that you have been forgotten. It tells you that if you truly mattered, life would be easier. It tells you that if I truly cared, you would not have experienced so many setbacks. It tells you that your prayers disappeared into silence and that nobody noticed your tears. My child, that belief has wounded many parts of your heart, because when a person begins to believe they are forgotten, they stop expecting good things. They stop hoping as freely as they once did. They lower their expectations to protect themselves from disappointment. They begin to survive instead of truly living. Perhaps another false belief has been growing beside it. The belief that you are not enough, not strong enough, not wise enough, not successful enough, not worthy enough. You compare yourself to others and wonder why they seem to move forward while you feel stuck. You look at your mistakes and imagine they define your future. You remember your failures more clearly than your victories. And over time, self-doubt begins to sound like truth. My child, self-doubt has a way of disguising itself as wisdom. It tells you it is protecting you from disappointment. It tells you to expect less, to dream less, to trust less, to hope less. But in reality, it slowly steals the confidence that I placed inside you. It convinces you to measure yourself by your weaknesses instead of by my love. There have been moments when fear has joined these lies as well. Fear of failing again. Fear of being rejected. Fear of being disappointed. Fear that the future will simply repeat the pain of the past. Fear can become so familiar that it begins to feel normal. It follows your thoughts into quiet moments. It influences decisions before you even realize it is there. It convinces you that staying guarded is safer than remaining open. Yet, many times, the greatest burden you have carried was not the circumstance itself. It was the story you started believing about yourself because of the circumstance. You experienced delay and concluded that you were forgotten. You experienced disappointment and concluded that you were not enough. You experienced hardship and concluded that something was wrong with you. My beloved child, I have watched these false beliefs grow heavier with each passing season. I have seen how they affect the way you view yourself. I have seen how they shape your expectations. I have seen how they quietly drain your joy. And what makes them so powerful is that they often sound believable. They borrow pieces of real pain and use them to build false conclusions. They take genuine wounds and attach untrue meanings to them. But listen closely. Your pain is real. Your exhaustion is real. Your disappointments are real. Yet the lie that you are forgotten is not real. The lie that you are not enough is not real. The lie that your story is over is not real. Even now, there is a part of your heart that longs to believe something better. There is a part of you that still hopes, a part of you that still listens for my voice, a part of you that has not given up completely. And that quiet part of your heart is the reason you are still here. Because beneath the fear, beneath the self-doubt, beneath every false belief that tried to settle over your life, there remains a deeper truth waiting to be rediscovered. And my child, I have never stopped guarding that truth within you. My beloved child, before you allow those old thoughts to settle over your heart again, I want you to see something through my eyes. For so long, you have been looking at yourself through the lens of your struggles. You have measured yourself by what went wrong, by what did not happen, by what you wished had been different. You have looked at your weaknesses and assumed they tell the whole story. You have looked at your scars and believed they define you. You have looked at your waiting seasons and concluded that little has changed. But, my child, what you see and what I see are often very different things. When you look at yourself, you see someone who became tired. I see someone who kept moving forward despite exhaustion. When you look at yourself, you see unanswered questions. I see a heart that never completely stopped seeking me. When you look at yourself, you see delays and disappointments. I see perseverance quietly growing beneath the surface. You focus on the moments when you felt weak. I notice the countless moments when you chose not to give up. You remember every setback. I remember every step forward. You count the times you stumbled. I count the times you stood back up again. My beloved, there is hidden strength inside you that you rarely acknowledge, not because it does not exist, but because you have become so familiar with carrying burdens that you no longer recognize how much you have endured. There were seasons you thought would break you, yet you are still here. There were nights when fear tried to convince you that tomorrow would be too difficult to face, yet you woke up and kept going. There were moments when your heart felt empty, but somehow you continued to love, continue to care, continue to hope. That is not weakness. That is strength you have not fully seen. There is also unseen growth taking place within you. Growth is often quiet. It does not always announce itself. It does not always arrive with dramatic changes. Sometimes growth looks like remaining kind after disappointment. Sometimes growth looks like choosing faith while still carrying questions. Sometimes growth looks like continuing to trust me, even when you cannot yet understand what I am doing. You have been growing in ways you do not realize. The compassion within you is deeper than it once was. Your understanding of others has expanded. Your ability to endure difficult seasons has matured. Your dependence upon me has become stronger, even during moments when you felt distant. My child, you often judge yourself by what you have not achieved yet, but I see who you are becoming. You compare yourself to a finished picture while you are still in the middle of the process. You become discouraged because you focus on what remains unfinished. Yet I see the beauty of what is already being formed. I see courage developing where fear once ruled. I see wisdom growing through experiences you would never have chosen. I see resilience taking root. I see faith surviving storms that should have extinguished it. Most importantly, I do not see a forgotten person. I do not see a failure. I do not see someone unworthy of love. I see my beloved child. I see someone precious. I see someone worth pursuing, worth comforting, worth guiding, and worth restoring. I see a life filled with purpose that is still unfolding. So for a moment, set down the harsh judgments you have carried against yourself. Let go of the belief that your value depends upon your performance. Let go of the idea that your worth is measured by your success. See yourself through my perspective. Beneath every struggle, I see hidden strength. Beneath every difficult season, I see unseen growth. Beneath every fear, I see a heart that is far more beautiful, far more resilient, and far more loved than you have dared to believe. My beloved child, as you begin to see yourself through my eyes instead of through the lens of fear and self-doubt, another question often rises within your heart. It is a question many of my children have asked in quiet moments. Why has it taken so long? Why am I still waiting? Why does it feel as though the answers I hoped for remain just beyond reach? I know how difficult waiting can feel. I know how easy it is to look at the passing months and wonder whether anything is truly happening. From where you stand, waiting often feels like standing still. It can feel like silence. It can feel like delay. It can feel like being forgotten. But my child, there is something important I want you to understand. What appears inactive from your perspective is often a season filled with unseen preparation from mine. Think of a seed resting beneath the soil. If someone were to look at the ground day after day, they might assume nothing is happening. The surface appears unchanged. There is no visible movement, no visible growth, no visible progress. Yet beneath the surface, life is already unfolding. Roots are beginning to form. Strength is being developed. Foundations are being established. The seed is not dead. It is preparing. And my child, there have been seasons when your life has looked very similar. You have measured progress by what you could see. You looked for immediate results, immediate change, immediate breakthrough. But much of the work I have been doing has taken place beneath the surface of your circumstances. While you were focused on the visible outcome, I was nurturing unseen growth within your heart. While you wondered why doors remained closed, I was strengthening roots that would allow you to carry future blessings wisely. While you questioned the process, I was preparing you for things you could not yet see. The waiting season is not punishment. It is not rejection. It is not evidence that I have forgotten you. Many times, it is preparation. There are things that can only grow during certain seasons. Just as nature moves through spring, summer, autumn, and winter, your spiritual journey also contains seasons. Some seasons are filled with visible harvest. Others are filled with hidden development. Neither season is wasted. Both serve a purpose. A tree does not become strong because of one sunny afternoon. Its strength develops through changing seasons, through storms, through droughts, through long stretches of growth that remain invisible to those passing by. In the same way, some of the strongest parts of your character have been formed during the very seasons you wished would end more quickly. Patience was growing, wisdom was growing, compassion was growing, trust was growing, endurance was growing. Even when you could not see it, growth was happening. My beloved child, if I had given you everything at the moment you first asked, some blessings would have arrived before the roots were ready. Some opportunities would have appeared before the preparation was complete. Some answers would have come before your heart was equipped to receive them fully. I do not delay because I enjoy watching you wait. I prepare because I love you. I care about what I am building within you just as much as what I am bringing to you. The process matters because the person you are becoming matters. The roots matter because the future growth matters. The preparation matters because your story matters. So do not look at your waiting season and assume that nothing is happening. Do not mistake hidden growth for absence. Do not mistake preparation for neglect. Even now, beneath the surface of circumstances you do not yet understand, something beautiful is developing. The roots are reaching deeper. The seed is growing stronger. The season is accomplishing more than you realize. And one day, when you look back upon this chapter, you will see that what felt like delay was often preparation, what felt like silence was often growth, and what felt like waiting was never wasted at all. My beloved child, if you could step outside of your current circumstances for just a moment and look at your journey from a higher perspective, you would begin to notice something remarkable. You would see that this season has never been only about where you are going. It has also been about who you are becoming. So often, your attention has been fixed on the destination. You have focused on the answers you hoped would arrive, the doors you hoped would open, the changes you hoped would happen. Yet while your eyes were fixed on the horizon, something equally important was taking place within you. A transformation has been quietly unfolding, not always dramatically, not always visibly, but steadily, consistently, deep within the hidden places of your heart. There was a time when uncertainty immediately created panic. Now there is a growing ability to remain steady, even when every answer has not yet appeared. There was a time when disappointment could easily convince you to stop trying. Now there is a resilience within you that continues moving forward despite setbacks. There was a time when waiting felt unbearable. Now patience is developing in ways you never imagined possible. These changes may seem small to you, but they are not small at all. They are evidence of growth. They are evidence of transformation. They are evidence that something valuable is being built inside you. Wisdom is growing within you as well. Not simply knowledge, but wisdom. The kind that cannot be learned from books alone. The kind that emerges through experience, through reflection, through difficult seasons, through lessons that become part of your character. You understand certain things now that you did not understand before. You see people differently. You recognize struggles in others that you once overlooked. You have learned that life is often more complex than it first appears. This wisdom is becoming part of who you are. Resilience is also taking root. Not the kind that pretends everything is fine, not the kind that ignores pain, but the kind that remains standing even after difficult seasons have passed through. The kind that continues believing that tomorrow can hold something good. The kind that keeps moving forward one step at a time. Every challenge you have endured has strengthened this resilience little by little. And then there is compassion. My child, some of the most tender parts of your heart have been shaped through experiences you once wished you could avoid. The pain you have known has deepened your ability to understand the pain of others. The struggles you have carried have expanded your capacity for kindness. The loneliness you have felt has increased your sensitivity toward those who feel unseen. Compassion often grows in places where comfort never could. Patience, wisdom, resilience, compassion, these are not temporary qualities. These are becoming part of your foundation. They are shaping the person you are becoming. And perhaps the most surprising truth of all is that much of this transformation happened during seasons when you believed nothing was happening. While you were waiting for visible change, invisible change was already taking place. While you were questioning the process was quietly shaping you. While you wondered whether progress was being made, growth was occurring beneath the surface. One day you will look back and realize that this chapter was not merely a season you survived, It was a season that formed you. It strengthened you. It refined your perspective. It expanded your heart. The person emerging from this season is not the same person who entered it. There is greater wisdom than before, greater resilience than before, greater patience than before, greater compassion than before. And although the journey is not finished, the transformation has already begun. Even now, something beautiful is being built inside you, piece by piece, day by day, in ways that will continue revealing themselves long after this season has passed. My beloved child, now that you have begun to understand that this season has been shaping something valuable within you, a new question naturally rises in your heart. What do I do now? After the waiting, after the questions, after the lessons, after the growth, what comes next? The answer may be simpler than you expect, yet deeper than you realize. You do not need to force your future into existence. You do not need to carry tomorrow on your shoulders. You do not need to solve every unanswered question before taking your next step. What I am inviting you to do is something far more powerful. I am inviting you to release what has become too heavy for your heart to carry. There are burdens you were never meant to hold forever. There are disappointments that have remained in your hands long after the moment passed. There are old wounds you continue revisiting, hoping they will somehow explain everything. There are fears you keep entertaining because they feel familiar. Yet familiarity does not make them beneficial. My child, some things cannot accompany you into the next season, not because they define you, but because they are limiting you. This is why I invite you to let go. Let go of the belief that every outcome depends entirely on you. Let go of the pressure to control every detail. Let go of the exhausting need to predict what comes next. You were not created to carry the weight of complete certainty. You were created to walk forward one step at a time. There is also forgiveness that may need to happen within your heart, not because what happened was acceptable, not because the pain was imaginary, but because bitterness quietly drains the strength needed for growth. Every time you hold tightly to resentment, part of your energy remains attached to the past. Forgiveness does not erase the lesson. It does not erase wisdom. It simply releases the chains that keep old pain connected to your future. My beloved child, surrender is another invitation before you. Many people misunderstand surrender. They imagine weakness. They imagine defeat. Yet true surrender is not giving up. It is placing what you cannot control into hands greater than your own. It is releasing the constant struggle to manage everything alone. It is allowing peace to enter places where anxiety has been standing guard. Surrender says, I do not understand everything, but I am willing to trust the process. Trust is often built one decision at a time, one day at a time, one choice at a time. You do not need enough faith for the next 10 years. You only need enough trust for today. Enough trust to take the next step. Enough trust to keep your heart open. Enough trust to believe that growth is still happening even when you cannot see the entire picture. My child, imagine how different your heart would feel if you stopped fighting battles that were never yours to carry. Imagine the freedom that comes when you release fear's grip on your future. Imagine the peace that grows when forgiveness replaces resentment, when trust replaces constant worry, when surrender replaces endless striving. The invitation before you is not complicated. Let go of what is weighing you down. Forgive where forgiveness is needed. Surrender what you cannot control. Trust one step at a time. The road ahead does not require perfection. It requires willingness. And as you move forward, lighter than before, freer than before, and more open than before, you will begin to discover that some of the greatest changes in life begin with a simple decision made quietly within the heart. My beloved child, once you begin releasing what was never meant to define you, something beautiful starts to happen within your spirit. The horizon slowly becomes visible again, not because every question has been answered, not because every challenge has disappeared, but because hope begins to return. And when hope returns, you start seeing possibilities where fear once saw only limitations. I know there have been moments when the future felt difficult to imagine. There were seasons when your vision became clouded by disappointment. Seasons when it seemed easier to expect less than to believe for more. Yet I want you to lift your eyes beyond what you can currently see. There is more ahead of you than you realize. There are chapters of your story that have not yet been written. There are opportunities that have not yet appeared. There are conversations that have not yet happened. There are moments of joy that have not yet arrived. Just because you cannot see them today does not mean they are absent from your future. Sometimes the human heart becomes so focused on surviving the present that it forgets the future still exists. You have spent energy carrying burdens, navigating uncertainty, learning difficult lessons, and enduring seasons that stretched your faith. But those seasons are not the entire story. They are chapters, important chapters, meaningful chapters, yet they are not the final chapter. A new chapter always begins somewhere beyond the page you are currently reading. My child, restoration often arrives in quiet ways before it becomes visible in obvious ways. It begins when hope returns. It begins when peace starts replacing constant fear. It begins when your heart becomes willing to believe that good things are still possible. Restoration is not always about recovering exactly what was lost. Sometimes it is discovering something deeper, wiser, and stronger than what existed before. Sometimes it is becoming the person you were meant to become through the very experiences you once wished had never happened. There are breakthroughs that do not announce themselves with noise. Some breakthroughs begin as small shifts in perspective. A new confidence, a new peace, a renewed sense of purpose, a willingness to trust again, a readiness to move forward, instead of remaining trapped by yesterday. These quiet breakthroughs often become the foundation for larger changes that unfold later. That is why you must never underestimate the power of what is happening within you right now. The future you cannot yet see is not asking you to predict every detail. It is inviting you to remain open. Open to growth, open to healing, open to new opportunities, open to unexpected blessings, open to the possibility that life may hold more goodness than your current fears allow you to imagine. There may be doors ahead that you do not know exist yet. There may be friendships, opportunities, moments of purpose, and seasons of joy waiting beyond your present horizon. You do not need to force them into existence. You do not need to chase every answer. You only need to keep moving forward with a heart that remains open to possibility. My beloved child, the future is not something to fear. It is a landscape still being revealed, one step at a time. And while you cannot see every detail from where you stand today, you can trust that your story is still unfolding. There is still growth ahead. There is still restoration ahead. There are still opportunities ahead. There is still beauty ahead. The chapter you are living now matters deeply, but it is not the end of the story. There is more waiting beyond the horizon than you can currently imagine, and the pages yet to come hold possibilities that your weary heart has not even dared to dream about yet. My beloved child, as this moment gently comes to a close, I do not want you to leave carrying pressure. I do not want you to leave carrying fear. I do not want you to leave carrying the same heaviness that has followed you for so long. Instead, I want you to carry something different. I want you to carry peace. Not the kind of peace that comes from having every answer, not the kind of peace that comes from controlling every outcome, but the kind of peace that settles deep within the heart when you remember that your life is not unfolding without purpose. Take a moment and look back over everything you have heard. You are not the person fear tried to convince you that you were. You are not defined by your disappointments. You are not defined by your waiting season. You are not defined by your mistakes, your struggles, your setbacks, or your unanswered questions. There has been growth taking place even when you could not see it. There has been preparation happening even when you thought nothing was changing. There has been strength developing even when you felt weak. There has been hope surviving even when discouragement tried to take its place. My child, let your heart rest now. Let your mind become still. You do not have to figure everything out tonight. You do not have to solve tomorrow before it arrives. You do not have to carry burdens that were never meant to belong to you. Release them. Let them go. Breathe deeply and remember that one step at a time is enough. One day at a time is enough. One act of trust at a time is enough. There is no need to rush the process. There is no need to compare your journey to anyone else's. Your story is unfolding according to a timing that is greater than your understanding and more beautiful than your fears can imagine. I bless your heart with renewed courage for the days ahead. I bless your mind with calm where worry once lived. I bless your spirit with confidence when uncertainty appears. I bless your path with wisdom for each decision that awaits you. I bless your future with hope that remains steady through changing seasons. May you walk forward knowing that growth is still happening. May you walk forward remembering that waiting is not wasting. May you walk forward with greater patience, greater resilience, greater compassion, and greater peace than before. And whenever doubt tries to return, remember what has been planted within your heart today. Remember that hidden growth is still growth. Remember that unseen roots still matter. Remember that the chapters you cannot yet see are just as real as the chapter you are living now. Most of all, remember this simple truth. The story is not over. The season is not final. The journey is not finished. There is still purpose ahead. There is still beauty ahead. There is still restoration ahead. There is still hope ahead. So rest now, my child. Rest from striving. Rest from fear. Rest from carrying what was never yours to hold alone. Let peace settle over your heart like a gentle evening light. Let hope remain quietly alive within you. And as you continue forward, carry this truth with you wherever you go. What is being built within you is greater than what has been working against you, and the best chapters of your story have not been written yet.